Hello, YouTube family. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well. I want to read to you today from my booklet, 10 Commandments. This is the Fourth Commandment, key to a relationship with our Creator. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. That is from Exodus 20:8 through 11. The Sabbath, the seventh day of the week, was set apart by God as a time of rest and spiritual rejuvenation. It is a special opportunity to draw close to our Creator, time He designated for us to enhance our relationship with Him, to learn how to better love, worship, and relate to Him. As days in the Bible are reckoned from sunset to sunset, the Sabbath begins on sunset Friday evening and ends at sunset Saturday evening. Of course, most people will immediately ask, why is setting apart any day of the week so important that God would include it as one of His 10 Commandments? Especially why set aside the seventh day? How will our relationship with God benefit any more by observing this particular day rather than any other day we might choose? After all, Friday night and Saturday bustle with all sorts of sports, business, and other secular activities. Why should we be different? Isn't this only a symbolic commandment, one never meant to be taken literally? And didn't Jesus Christ ignore this commandment, leaving us free from the burden of keeping it? These questions represent some of the most widely assumed and long-held beliefs about the Fourth Commandment. But God's command is simple and easy to understand. So why is it so frequently ignored, attacked, and explained away by so many? Could it be that the challenges to the Sabbath command are views generated by the devil, the unseen ruler of this present evil world? After all, this great deceiver wants us to accept his views because he hates God's law. He does all he can to influence us to ignore and avoid or reason our way around it. Few grasp the context. A few grasp the extent of society's indoctrination by Satan. As the real God of this age, he has deceived most of humankind. The whole world falls prey to his influence. His objective has always been to destroy the relationship between the true God and humanity. He wants nothing more than to thwart people from developing a loving, personal relationship with their Creator, that being the purpose of the Fourth Commandment. He wants to prevent us from reaching our incredible destiny in God's family. Jesus and his disciples kept the Sabbath. What does Christ personal example teach us about Sabbath observance? So he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up to read. Jesus used God's Sabbaths for their intended purpose, to help people develop a personal relationship with their Creator after Christ's death and resurrection. His disciples followed his example in their observance of the Sabbath day. Then Paul, as his custom was, went into them and for the 3 Sabbaths reasoned with them from the Scriptures. And he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath and persuaded both Jews and Greeks. Today, however, most people who profess to follow Christ do not follow the example set by him and his apostles. Most fail to realize that the wholesale rejection of the Sabbath as the Christian day of worship did not start until almost 300 years after Christ's ministry on earth. Thus, the substitution of Sunday for the Sabbath took hold largely through a political decision made by the Roman Emperor Constantine, who legalized Christianity to secure political advantage over a defeated contender for the office of emperor. Constantine was quick to grasp the political advantage of accepting and supporting Christians, but that acceptance came with a price: state control over all religious matters. In AD 321, Constantine declared Sunday long the day consecrated in honor of the pagan sun god, to be the official day and of rest in the Roman Empire, making it the day of choice for church assemblies. But nowhere in the Bible does either God the Father or Jesus Christ ever grant permission to change the time of the Sabbath from the seventh day to Sunday, the first day of the week. The first century apostles did not change it. Indeed, no human being, institution, or state has ever had the right to tamper with what God has set apart as holy, the Sabbath day and a godly relationship. The Sabbath, the day set aside to remind us regularly that our Creator is the only true God, is vital to our relationship with Him. It shapes the way we perceive and worship Him. Therefore, He commands us to remember the Sabbath by formally worshiping Him on that day. Otherwise, we forfeit that special understanding of Him as the Creator of the entire universe. After 6 days of setting in order this beautiful earth and everything in it, our Creator ceased from molding the physical part of His creation and rested on the 7th day. In observing the Sabbath, we cease from our normal labor and activities to regularly remind ourselves of this essential understanding. The Sabbath is also a special day to concentrate on developing our spiritual relationship with God. Although it is a day of rest from our normal routines and a time for rejuvenation, it is not a day to do nothing, as some assume. On the contrary, the Sabbath is a special day on which we dramatically change the focus of our activity. God intended that it be a delightful period during which we busily draw closer to Him. God said through the pen of Isaiah, "If you turn away your foot from the Sabbath, from doing your pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy day of the Lord honorable, and shall honor Him, not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasure, nor speaking your own words. Then you shall delight yourself in the Lord, and I will cause you to ride on the high hills of the earth, and feed you with the heritage, the abundance of blessings of Jacob, your father. The mouth of the Lord has spoken." Indeed, to delight yourself in the Lord is one of the key reasons we should cease for the 24 hours of the Sabbath from the labor and normal activities that consume our time the other 6 days of the week. Relationships take time. Every successful association demands time. No close relationship can succeed without it. No courtship, no marriage, no friendship. Our relationship with God is no exception. God wants us to take special time to worship Him, our Creator. That is what the Sabbath, the seventh day of the week, provides. The Hebrew word for Sabbath, Shabbath, means to cease, to pause or take an intermission. On the Sabbath, we are to take the day off from our regular activities and devote our time and attention to our Creator. Why? Because in 6 days God set in order the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. The Sabbath, in a different way from any other commandment, keeps us in touch with how real God is as our Creator. Okay, I'm going to stop there, and I'll read part 2 of the Fourth Commandment later. I hope you liked it. Hope it meant something to you. And until I see you again, God bless you all, and goodbye.